I've got here the rather special Zen Delay from Erica Synth and Ninja Tune, and it's effectively 3 processors in one. It's got a delay unit, it's got a valve overdrive circuit, and it's got a multi-mode resonant filter. It's got high pass, low pass, and a band pass mode in there. And each of those effects you can use independently. You can turn the delays off, you can turn the filter off and just use the distortion, for example, or you could just use the filter. It's a stereo filter, even though I've only got it plugged in to the left here. It's actually true stereo, which means it's great for filtering whole tracks or drum loops. And it was designed with matte black from Ninja Tune, as you can see on the front. And you can tell it's been designed from a different perspective as soon as you start playing with it. Most delay pedals are designed to perform an instrument through the delay. This has been designed to perform the delay as an instrument, which means you can do stuff like this. So there are 2 really clever things that it's doing there. The first is that it doesn't degrade the signal permanently once you've filtered it. So once you've stripped away some frequencies, you can bring them back in again. So there we're stripping out all the high frequencies with the low pass, then bringing them back in, and stripping out all the low with the high pass, and then stripping out the high and the low with the band pass, and you don't lose any of it. You can bring it all back in and play around as much as you like for as long as you like. And that brings me to the second really good thing on this, and that's the feedback circuit, because between 12 and 3 or 12 and 2, it just seems to go on forever. So I'm not going to sit here and wait for that to finish, because I think I'll be sitting here for days and days, if not forever, but you get the idea. This feedback here allows you to get that sort of infinite looping without having to sit there and hold it. On something like my Mogofogo 104, which I'll show in a second, you've really got to make sure that you don't go into self-oscillation and you don't tip it back again so that it drops out. You really have to sort of play with it to make sure that your loop continues. But even when you get it right, the signal is degraded permanently. And there's absolutely no denying that's a really nice sounding delay pedal. They cost anything upwards of £1,500. I've seen them going for £2,000. They're that nice, but they can't do what the Zen Delay does. They just can't do that floaty thing where you can tweak around with a sound for hours and hours without it degrading. So let's take a look in a little bit more detail in the Zen Delay. Let's start off by taking a look at the different delay modes. We've got just 5 algorithms on this. We don't have a huge choice. We've got tape, mono and stereo. We've got digital, mono and stereo, and we've got a vintage mode as well. And I think the reason for that is the differences between different analogs, say tape and BBD, for example, are the filter section, and we've got the separate filter section on this, so it wouldn't make much sense, I suppose, having lots of different algorithms. Although I suppose for tape you could have different numbers of heads and stuff like that, but that's not what this is about. It's not about emulating any specific hardware. It's more about being able to play around and get those sort of really nice tones. So we take a look at some of them then. We'll start off with the mono tape. That's really nice for giving little glitchy effects actually. And if you want to get it back in time, you can use the tap. I'm just trying to get it to these nice flangey effects. Works better, I think, with a drum loop where you've got sort of a constant thing coming through. I'll stick a drum loop through it. And I've been playing with that for ages, getting loads of really nice little, odd little tones from drum loops, some really subtle to complete madness. And I'll show some of them later when I do the vintage mode, and you can hear the nice crunchy nastiness we're getting from the vintage mode already. But yeah, we've got tap, we've also got a MIDI in here. And when you've got MIDI in, this obviously synchronizes to the beat. Let's just have a little play. So that all works as you'd expect. Let's go to the ping pong delay, so that's stereo. gorgeous, isn't it? Every time you play with it, you just disappear into yourself. I was intending to get a couple of videos done this weekend. The family's away and I got the kitchen to myself. Thought brilliant, and get loads done. And I've just sat here with this, the Sculpt and the Leipzig from Analog Solutions, just jamming all weekend, getting nothing done, but really enjoying myself. Okay, let's move over then to the digital delays. I'm just trying to hear if there's any difference between them, and I can't really hear anything. There might be some subtle differences there, that some of the tones. I was playing with the piano through it earlier on, and I thought that I could hear some difference, but I wasn't really concentrating. But the main difference is really that one will change pitch and the other won't. So I'll take the MIDI synchronization off it now. That's tape ping pong. So there's no change in the pitch, you're just changing the delay time, which is actually really handy in most cases, because most cases you're not looking for that sort of weird glitchy effect. Again, it's just really beautiful, isn't it? And then we've got the mono digital, which is the same thing, but not ping pong. Okay, all acting like you might expect, and then we've got, whoop, then we got this vintage mode as well, which I've got to say, I thought it was broken when I first got it. It's that sort of crunchy. So all sorts of madness when you're not even putting anything through it, but get some really nice glitchy effects from it. hugely crunchy. Let's try a piano or something on it, try and get some sort of weird, mellow, glitchy things. I've not really explored that side of it too much. That's sounding really nice. That's some really weird little strange effects you can get from that. But I think that's sort of done the delay section. Let's just have a quick listen to the distortion circuit as I've just been bringing it in there with the piano and see what that sounds like. So we can turn the delay all the way off and we can turn the filter off as well. So you can go to almost sonic destruction there. Let's try it on an acid line. Yeah, so it's quite noisy, it's quite lo-fi. Let's try it again with a beat and some filtering. One thing I have noticed is that you get some sort of phase differences between the dry and the wet signals. So it'd be nice if that kick just came through nice and clear. And I'm not sure why that is, because it is an analog filter, but maybe it's got to go through the delay circuit first, but the delay circuit's turned off, so just a bit odd. Although if you're going for that distortion, I don't suppose it really matters. But as I'm playing with the filter, let's now move over to that. I only got the Analog Solutions Leipzig out to demo how the filter on the Zen Delay stacks up against the sort of all analog 24 dB big juicy filter, but every time I put the two of them together I keep on just sort of getting lost in myself and doing nice things. Anyway, this has got a multi-mode filter. It's got high pass, low pass and band pass, as we've heard throughout this demo already. The Analog Solutions has only got a 24 dB low pass, but it'll give a good idea of the quality of the filter on the Zen Delay. And I've got a few Erica Synths Eurorack filters. I've got the Polyvox and the multi-mode filter, and they're really, really nice, as is this. So I think it's worth demoing the filter on its own as a filter, because as a pedal, it does work as an independent filter as well. Bypassing the Zen Delay and listening to the filter just on the Analog Solutions alone. Just turned it down a bit there to protect your ears. So that's a really gorgeous sounding analog filter. So let's do the same with the Zen Delay. And you could hear as I went through the dry to the wet there that we got that sort of phasiness again. As I said, it would be quite nice to be able to get rid of that. But let's take a listen to the filter. So it really is a nice quality analog filter. It's actually got a little bit more bite than the Leipzig. It's got like a little bit more bite on the resonance. It's got like extra harmonics in there, but so as far as filters go, it's a really nice filter. Let's stick a drum loop through it again, just because. So again, I've only got that going through mono. We should really have set it up as stereo, but sticking everything else through it during this this demo, I've had leads going all over the place, which is why I've only got it going through in mono. But yeah, hopefully you can hear it's a really nice sounding filter. So I think that brings me to the end. So what are my final thoughts on this? I think this is a fabulous, fabulous delay pedal. It's completely different than any other delay I've ever owned in that it's not a standard delay. As I said at the intro, it's more a performance tool than something that you perform through. You perform with it rather than through it. It hasn't got any presets, it's only got a few algorithms. So it is limited from that perspective. It's a little bit of a shame that the dry and the wet doesn't blend perfectly. But they're very, very minor niggles. They're only things that you're sort of picking out at certain places. But when you're just playing with it, honestly, I've been having so much fun with it. It's one of those things that you just sort of disappear into, and playing with that band pass and a little bit of resonance and just tweaking the delay is something else actually. So highly recommended. They're about £500, so they're not cheap, but you are getting a valve distortion unit as well as a multi-mode analog resonant filter and a delay as well. So really nice. And the actual unit itself, it's nice, it's chunky, it's got the Bakelite knobs like the rest of the Erica synth stuff. It feels like a quality bit of kit, and I particularly like this little thing here, protecting the valve. You can see the valve glowing from where I'm sitting. I don't think you probably can on camera, but let's see if we can. There you go, a nice glowing valve. A nice addition would have been CV control of the filter. We've got this control in here, but this control in is effectively just a tap and a bypass, so just these two buttons here, which I didn't realise before I read the manual. So it would be nice to be able to have an LFO or bring something else in to control this filter, but you can't, and it's not really a big CV modular bit of kit, but it would have been a nice little addition, especially considering Erica do a lot of modular stuff. But it doesn't take away from what it is, which is a fantastic performance tool. So there you go, the Zen Delay by Ninja Tune and Erica Synth. Very, very nice indeed. And if you enjoyed that, think about subscribing, ring that bell, and maybe join me over on my Patreon page. And if you are thinking of picking one of these up and you're in the States, maybe check out my link below for perfect circuit audio. I might get a little bung and help to keep the channel going. And I think you get free delivery as well. Okay, I will see you next time. it.